Welcome back to another Shaydoff video. This time I'll be tier listing every anime I've seen so far. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think down below. Remember, when watching this, we all have different opinions, so I'd appreciate it if we all respect one another's thoughts. With that being said, let's jump right into this. First up, we've got Naruto. Naruto was my first real anime I ever watched. I watched the entirety of Naruto twice before I ever watched any other anime. This was probably about 3 years ago, and the show had amazing characters, the story overall was great, and it included some of the best side character backstories ever. Naruto might be my favorite anime ever, so with that, I am giving it the S tier ranking. Now we've got the sequel to Naruto, which is Boruto. I started Boruto after finishing my second watch through of Naruto. It gets a lot more hate than I feel that it deserves, but I do agree that there are way too many fillers. Not to mention, I don't really like most of the characters. I'd say my current ranking for Boruto is a C. But honestly, I think once Boruto grows up and the cooler characters are introduced, it could become an A. I'm very excited for the time skip. Oh god, this show has the worst fanbase I've ever seen. You may be able to guess what show I'm talking about purely based on that sentence. My Hero Academia. I loved it, but seeing the community alone lowered my excitement for this show. If you like My Hero, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not here to bash the community though, so let's talk about the show itself. The animations are clean, and the story's pretty alright too. Honestly, the show could have gotten an S, but I'm gonna be giving it an A just because I really did not like season 4. The other seasons though were superb. Alright, this next anime I'm talking about I'd say is considered the most overhyped anime of our time. But honestly, I'm gonna have to disagree. Sure, it's really hyped up, but honestly, it deserves it. The show is fire, and the fight of episode 19 with the transition to the beautiful closing literally made my jaw drop. It's a high A right now, but depending on how they continue the anime, I could definitely see it becoming an S tier. Another anime that gets a lot of hate is Black Clover. Now, I really don't understand the Black Clover hate. Sure, the animations in the beginning weren't great, but once Asta unlocked his Black Asta ability, the animations were amazing. You can't tell me those fights weren't badass. It gets compared to Naruto a lot, which I guess I can sort of see, but it also has its own uniqueness, which is really nice. Plus, Naruto is amazing, so who the fuck cares if the story is similar? I could see myself liking Black Clover more than Naruto if I watched it as my first anime. With that being said, Black Clover is an S rank from me. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. This was the start of my anime grind. I literally started this show the week before quarantine hit, so that tells you I watched about 13 shows in a very short span. Yeah, I might need help. I watched the first episode and honestly wasn't sure if I'd want to continue it. I didn't watch another episode for like a whole week, but once quarantine hit, I figured I'd give it another shot. I actually ended up really loving it, and the story was awesome, and character development was great. My only complaints are that the fight against Father was so quick, it felt super rushed. I also wish we could have gotten another episode or so to see everyone's future. Fullmetal, you get an A. Next was Attack on Titan, which I also was a little unsure of at first, but the story eventually ended up sucking me in. Now I'm super excited for the final season to come. Levi was badass, Mikasa was badass, and the rest of the characters were pretty cool too. Attack on Titan will also be an A. Now we've got Baccano, and I'm sorry to anyone who liked Baccano, but I just could not get into it. I was bored out of my mind and couldn't even finish it. So I would give it an F, but honestly I can see why people might like it, so I'm gonna give it an E. But damn, that shit had me in Z's the whole time. Dr. Stone is a surprising S. The anime was way different than any other I had yet to see. It was such a chill show and a nice change of pace. It actually made me motivated to want to learn some things. Senkyu was pretty sick and I loved his catchphrases. It's a low S, but an S nonetheless, and I can't wait for the next season. Next up is the show about little orphan kids escaping the demons that will devour them. These kids are smarter than I will ever be. I love this story a lot actually. So many times I was shocked by twists that ended up happening and I just was not expecting it. Overall, it was a great show and I'd say it's an A from me. Okay, this show was weird. I actually found out about Cautious Hero from a post on the Explore page of my Instagram. It was a clip of one of the fights and that alone got me to watch it. First off, I was not a fan of the video game type aspect whatsoever. I thought that shit was very corny. Second, the whole show felt really sloppy and rushed. Third, Restarte is fucking bae, bruh. And lastly, the animations for Seiya's attacks were phenomenal. I still like the show actually, and the end had me a little teary-eyed. I'm giving it a C. Fire Force was very underwhelming, but definitely had its hype moments. When Benimaru killed that devil guy and the bass dropped, I swear my ears orgasmed. I was not expecting it and was another jaw-dropping moment.
I'm borrowing your move. Sorry, Conroe.
The story overall was kinda eh, but it wasn't bad. I could see it getting good though. I love the characters in the show and I'm excited to see them develop more. It's definitely a B. Tokyo Ghoul deserves better fight scenes. The animations just weren't there. Don't get me wrong, I love the show. I grew super attached to the characters from each season, and I was happy to see everyone's future in the end, but I feel like there could have been more done for it. Nonetheless, I still really love the show, and I'm giving it an A. Okay, before I even get into this one, I know this one's controversial, and I have no doubt about that. Death Note for me was a B. But before you comment telling me how dumb I am, hear me out. The story was good. Actually, it was great. It was unique and original. The problem I had was I didn't get attached to any of the characters and wasn't even sad when it was over. I was content that it was over and didn't care for more. The characters needed something to help bring attachment to those watching, so it would be sad or happy depending on who won. Again, this was just an opinion, so let's move on to Darling in the Franxx.
After all, you are now my darling.
Yeah, I honestly cannot believe how many times she said the words darling in the whole show. Moral of the story is Hiro is a simp for 02.
Well, there's no real easy way to say this, but, look, you're a simp.
Honestly, I can't blame him though. Who wouldn't? 02 and Hiro carried the fuck out of this show. Up until the end, they were the only good characters. Thankfully, the others decided it was time to actually do something. The ending was honestly really good, especially with how much hate it gets. I didn't like the whole robot thing, like, at all. I thought it was just really weird, and I didn't like the sexualizing of the whole thing either. But honestly, the show gets a B from me. Now on to Mob Psycho. At first, I really did not care for this show. It felt like a shitty cartoon like Rick and Morty, but like, with actual funny moments, rather than an actual anime. I will say the fights did have amazing animations. Mostly the ground flying in the air in every fight, but honestly more anime need that because it really makes it feel like the fight has more power in it. I also really like how Mob's confidence grew more and more as the show went on, as well as him actually getting friends. The Body Improvement Club was amazing, but how the fuck they've got 8th graders built like this? I'm giving it a C overall, just because I feel that the story was lacking a little bit.
Yuki.
I think Yuno said Yuki almost as much as 02 said darling. And fuck, that's a lot. I'm gonna be honest, I have never had such bad post-anime depression than I did after finishing this show. I don't even know why. I thoroughly enjoyed watching this and found the story super intriguing. I loved Yuno's character a lot too. She was easily the best. I think at this point I just need a pink-haired anime bitch. My only complaints about the show were how Yuki forgave his dad so easily, and how often Yuki changed his mind on whether he liked Yuno or not. Just fucking decide! Or I'm taking her myself. This to me is an easy S, and probably one of my top 3 animes at this point, if not higher on that list. Last but not least, we've got Violet Evergarden. I'm gonna be honest, it was pretty boring for me, but I watched the whole thing through. The animations were top notch, and I can't even imagine how good a fighting show with these animations would look. The story did make me tear up a few times, I will admit, but because it wasn't really my style, I'm gonna give it a C. This is my end result, so that's gonna do it for this video. And I'll likely make a part 2 once I watch 18 more animes, and if you guys did enjoy this video. Again, I'd like to say please keep things respectful in the comments, and I'd really like to hear what you guys think. Also, I'd love for you guys to give me some good anime suggestions, so comment down below. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.